everyone. Welcome to our another episode. Today, Soham and I we will be doing another video. We have a very interesting topic today. So, in our last 8 years, whatever we understood about civil engineering industry, whatever advices, suggestions that we got from our seniors, peers, what we observed in the industry. So, we are going to share all those in this video. Hope this video will be helpful to budding civil engineers who are just about to start their careers. And to students also. So yeah, so you can just give you a little bit intro, like how what roles you did in the last 8 years as a civil engineer.
Yeah, thank you, Sayanta. So it's been a while. Like both Sayanta and I have been in this industry. So I graduated in like 2015 after my bachelor's, and then I started like working for a couple of years, and then I did my master's in Canada, and I've been working since then in Canada. And for Sayanta also, he actually right away did his master's in USA, and since that he has been working in US. So yeah, both of us have been in this industry for a while, and today we are basically going to summarize some of the important advice and suggestion that we have got from our managers, peers, and uh, basically what like resonated with both of us. So Sant, if you want to start with
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. So before that, just let me tell our audience that I have been a civil engineer, but I have been working the transportation as a transportation engineer since the last 8 years. While Soham first 2 years he worked in the construct planning, right, construction field in like one of the top construction firms in India, like L&T. Everybody knows L&T. And after that, when he came to Canada, he's working since the last 5-6 years as a structural engineer.
Right.
So let's start with our whatever we understood, gained in the industry, some of the good advices that we received. So let the first advice that I can think of clearly is when I actually went for a meeting, like, and there was, and the senior vice president of our company, she came and said this thing, which I think is very apt for a civil engineering consulting firm. She said that she believes in four things which are like the pillars in this consulting industry. Number one is keep the client happy. Number two is keep the people around you happy, like who you are working with, your colleagues. Number three is stay billable, so that you always work on a project. And number four is stay within budget. So these four things, I think it's very apt for a civil consulting industry, that if every employee is, when you are an employee of a civil engineering consulting firm, if you go by this principle, it will be a better journey, better experience, that you make people happy, because the client is your people who is paying you the money. So you have to keep your client happy. That's number one. Two is the people around you are happy, your boss is happy, your co-worker is happy, so that you can do better work, you can collaborate, because you need, civil engineering needs a lot of collaborations, because there will be like transportation engineers, even inside transportation there will be highway engineers, traffic engineers, transportation planning, then there are like structurals, which include bridge engineering, even, and then there is environmental engineering, water resource drainage. So many type of engineering will work on an engineering project, that you always have to keep people around you happy. If you mess with people, and then you, because everybody needs each other's basically to, for the final design submission, and like stay billable and stay within budget. So these are because no matter how good work you do, if you go above budget, the value reduces significantly. This I
Yes.
have, I mean, someone will also, I think, agree with, but I mean, this is what I have seen also with my personal life.
Yeah, definitely. I think like every point that you like received from your like side vice president was like very very apt. So basically, of course, like you have to keep your co-workers happy and have a like positive environment around you, right? So basically, it should be like people should enjoy working with you, right? Rather than, and you should be approachable as well. People should not feel like, oh, I should not go to this person, right? And only then you can have a good working relationship. Of course, clients, as you said, clients are super important, so they are basically the one providing the money for the project. So basically you need to have good relationship with clients, but at the same time there are so many other stakeholders, right? It's not just the client. It may be, a consortium which has, multiple companies working together on some project. They're like all like mega projects nowadays are, with some different, some consortium, different number of companies working. So you need to have good relationship with each and every company, professional that you are working with. There may be subcontractors that, some work have been subcontracted to them. So at the end of the day, everything together would be the project, right? So at the end of the day, you have to work in collaboration. Everybody must be, you must be approachable, and everybody must be happy, or they must like you, right? So that's basically one of the bases. You have to know your technical things and stuff like that, but there should be a good atmosphere, where you're working. So that is, again, super important, very very important. And at the same time, billable, of course. At the end of the day, that's what it is, right? You are doing some work, and that work should be contributing towards the project. So if you are knowledgeable, if you have skills, and if you are in the right project, of course you have to be billable. And staying within budget, of course. Like we know, like like construction projects are infamous of crossing their budgets. So at least in the design phase, in the consulting phase, if we are working towards thinking that we should not be exceeding the budget. So that is definitely a very very good approach. So yeah, great points.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like your point, which you said that we have, it's not just with people around us or just the client, it's like everybody, which it was not written here, but you said it very correctly, with all the subcontractors, like other design firms who are working on the same project, or maybe the firm who worked just before you on that same project. So you have to get the as builds from them, right? So
Yeah.
that you can work on it. So there are like, uh, many people who are working on a same project basically. So
Definitely.
that is a one point we covered. Another point which I actually received from one of my professors, like, because whenever he used to ask from me about an update, I used to say like, this will be done. So yeah, I will be working on this. But the first thing that I understood it when I was doing my MS. Right now I kind of got it. So basically, the way when somebody asks about your update, like if your manager asks about your update, first always say about what has been done since the last update. Only after you have said what has been done, this are have been done, and only after that then say, yeah, I'm planning to do the next things. So don't skip this step and just assume that he knows what has been done, and then you say, okay, I'm planning to do this, because he's a manager. He has to see so many projects, but you are only working on one project, so he doesn't exactly remember what are the things has been done. So until unless you specifically mention to him on a plate that these are the things which I was working on it this week and everything has been done, and next week I'm planning to work on this. So this, I mean, I find it very reliable, because at that time when I was masters, I did not understand it too much, but I understood it later that he was giving me that practice so that I know how to report it, because I know my professor knows what I am working on, because there were limited projects at that time within that consulting atmosphere in my college. So but this practice is very good when I understood in the work environment, when I really see managers have like at least 6 7 8 projects going on, and all are like big projects. They have like multiple tasks under a project also. So this is a very good thing which I think is useful. Som, you want to add something, or?
Yeah, definitely. I think I truly resonate with what you said, because always I've seen like every manager, they usually manages like multiple projects. So for them, when you go to a manager, or any supervisor, right? They may be working on, even inside a project, they may be working on multiple things, right? So if you're going for something, let's say you're going for an approval, you should go with the information that is pertinent for that, right? You should not just assume that he may know everything. You should say, okay, this is done, this is something I did, and I need your approval for exactly this thing. So if you are briefing that person about what is it, he may know it, right? But it's in the back of their mind. Things will
Hmm.
be getting done very quickly, rather than staying on their table for a long time. So yeah, this is a very good suggestion that you gave. Yeah. And a very
Yeah.
good advice. Yeah.
And then let's move on to the next advice. This actually I had got an advice from one of my previous bosses, but not, I mean, in another firm which I used to work on. And I
Okay.
think it is very relevant because as I work on multiple projects, I can see it. Because when he said that if you're working on a big project, like that go slow on a big project, that it is better to go because as I said, the fourth point was stay within budget, right? But that
Right.
does not mean you will rush on a project, on a big project. Because if you rush on a project, let's say you are doing some design, let's say, and that design has 50 sheets, 50 CAD sheets, and you were rushing through the project and you made the same mistake in all the 50 sheets. And then basically you have to open the 50 sheets again and make the changes. So that will take more time than you are like relaxing, keeping your head cool, asking your supervisor, hey, are you sure? Asking twice if you are not sure. If this is the way we should approach. Yes, you got the tick marks, then you went and you made correct in all the 50 sheets. So he said, go slow on a big project. You don't need to rush, but don't make big mistakes, which like you have to do again the entire thing. So this I have realized that after that, because at the end of the day you will save a lot of money, because when they bid for the project they keep a lot of money. Also, it's not like they are on a big project they will make it very tight. So the budget, they won't make the budget very tight, so you will have time. But if you make mistakes, big mistakes, then it becomes a problem. So that is one of the advice that I received from one of my previous bosses. I thought it's very useful. So you have anything to say or
Yeah,
on?
definitely. That is actually, I think one of the most useful advice that I have also received from, my like previous bosses. So, sometimes we tend to rush, right? Because we think that this is the deadline, that's the deadline. But at the end of the day, if you are doing a mistake, or if some mistake is carried on in a drawing or in any document, it usually takes much longer to rectify that mistake, especially if the mistake is caught at a later stage. That may involve a lot more effort to get that thing
Hmm.
rectified, right?
Hmm.
Even if you even if someone does a mistake and the mistake is caught right away, still, so usually, civil engineering document goes through multiple people review, right? So once a document or something has been approved and something has been found to be wrong, it again has to go to the same approval process, which takes a lot of time, right?
Hmm.
And so I think, like, one of the suggestion that one of my supervisor gave, sometimes we tend to keep working on something, and even if there's a small mistake or there's something, since we are working on it for so long, we may overlook it, right? So what suggestion he gave was, just take a walk, 15-20 minutes, take a walk, go somewhere else, then with a fresh mind come and take a look, as a try to forget what you are doing and then come back and take a look. And usually that actually helps a lot. Sometimes some obvious things I miss when I'm working on it on like 2 hours, but just after taking a 15 minutes break, when I come back, I see, oh, this is wrong, this is that is wrong, right? So that's a very useful advice that I have received. So yeah, but that's super
Absolutely.
important.
No, great point. Yeah. So it's the same thing. So okay, let's move to the next advice in that, or whatever we got out of this industry. Let's. So one thing, this is just my personal view. What I have seen in the industry, being for 8 years around after I complete my bachelor's, you have to keep good relationships with your colleagues and bosses even if you leave the company. It's not like, I mean, you need to have a good relationship, because trust me, the industry is small, people know each other. You cannot just show arrogance and say something, leave. It's not, it doesn't, it can work, but it will not be a smooth for you, because come on, at the later stage you will need your previous bosses to sign for your PE license, for many things. If you are internationals, you might need their recommendation letters for your green card. Your lawyers might ask you their employer certificate, and there will be, or maybe your next opportunity. And trust me, I had a boss, previous boss also, like, who used to really like me. And when I was working in another firm, and he actually called me and said, hey, we have another opportunity, you can come back with a very big salary increase. Although it didn't work out because of the sponsorship and everything issues. But it can also work like that. Like if you have good relationship, your previous managers can also call you back to work in their firm, and in general you will have a good feeling also. But I mean, I have had good and bad relationship both. I just said about the good one, but yeah, I mean, bad ones also don't work good in your favor. I mean, it's like that. But yeah, this is what I say. I think about relationship with your colleagues and managers. I think it should be good. So, you have anything to say or
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this?
that's actually, very true. So it said like never, burn your bridges. So
Hmm.
always maintain a good relationship, and never like talk badly about anyone in this industry. So this is also something that here it's I think anywhere, once you say something bad about someone, it looks very badly on you, because that person may think that behind their back you may be something saying something bad about them as well, right? So it's very important, whatever you have in your mind, it's better not to be expressed. Even if you have something bad in your mind, it's super important that you don't go and talk about that to other people, especially in interviews. Somebody says that why you left your previous job, you shouldn't just be okay, this happened, that happened, and all that. Every time it's always better to have and like professional opinion about that. And it's super important to have good relation, because you need their help, and it's a small industry, as you said. And even if you don't need your help, it's need their help, it's always good to have someone you have worked with, to have a good and a positive relationship with them, right? So that is really, really important. That's a very good suggestion, I would say.
Yeah. So let's move to the next point. So this is my personal experience also. Maybe Soham can add his points on it, like what he also feels about it. That I feel like the first 10 years in a civil consulting industry, you have to have the your technical foundation very strong. You have to get your technical foundation, because after that you will get into managerial roles and stuff like that. You will have less opportunity to work in detail in all the technical drawings and everything. So first 10 years is very important to get your technical foundation strong, to have all your licenses out of your way, like to get your PE license, and if you're a traffic engineer, you get your PTOE license, whatever licenses work for you. You might even go and get a PMP license, project manager. So get all those things out of your way, get a good grip on what you are doing, and what even understand the entire process. Like, if you are a transportation engineer, understand what you will expect from a structural drawings, like what are the things they have to, because at the end of the day, it's a entire deliverables is the entire project. So you have to have an idea what other people are going to give to you, right? Those tasks. That is a very good foundation for the first 10 years. And also you can improve your like writing reports, because you might not have to write a lot of, you may have to write reports and proposals at the end of your 10-year career. But initially, like 6 year 5 years, start practicing writing reports, reading proposals, because after that you have to deal with a lot of writing reports, proposals, all those things, because uh, they are very needed, because you are expected to get projects for the company, or at least help in that process of bidding, how much hours which task will require, and that also will come from your experience. How much have you actually worked on it individually, so you know how much hours it can take. And also improve your communication skills. Get the first 10 years you might not have to communicate a lot with a lot of people, because I mean, yes, you have to communicate with your peers and everybody, but not you may not have to communicate a lot with outside people, like clients and other stakeholders. May not have to be I mean, maybe at the end of the 10-year curve, but not at least the first 5 years. I mean, I don't expect very less, until unless you're working for a very small firm. But yeah, improve your communication skills, writing skills, those are very important. And I mean, the foundation needs to be strong the first 10 years. So you want to add something on this thing?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, so the technical foundation is the basis of the work, right? So that is something that a person has to master during their first few years, right? First 10 years, let's say. So because that is the basis of what lies ahead, right? Or that is the actually that is the basis of your tenure of journey, right? So that is something, and in the first 10 years you'll actually get opportunities. People will come and teach you. Later
Hmm.
people will assume that you should
You
know
know.
that. If you don't know until that point, then something is wrong there, right? So that is
Hmm.
an expectation, you may, because initially people are willing to help, but at a senior level people may, like, question, why doesn't this guy know something about
Hmm.
this? So yeah, it's super important to build your technical know-how. At the same time, as you said, communication skills, super super important. The more concise you are, the well, yeah, the better you write, because writing is also very important. So I have been involved in, some like technical research papers, and at that point I used to think that why, because usually there is, like, course based and research based masters, right? And I used to think that, oh, this is too much work and all that. But at the end of the day, later, I came to realize that, that actually helps a lot, especially in, you may be required to develop proposal, you may be required to develop some technical document, and your communication skills then come into play. How concisely you're writing, whether you're making any, grammatical mistakes or not, because that looks very very badly on someone, who has, who is on, working for some time, right? At the same time, it's always good to know about your discipline, but it's also super important to know what other disciplines are doing, because at the end of the day, any project would involve, civil, mechanical go hand in hand. Let's say, all aspects of civil. So civil itself is a big department, as you said. There are, structural engineering, traffic, there are geotechnical, so all these go hand in hand. But at the same time, you should also be looking into what, like, mechanical components are, right? What are the piping, what are the HVAC systems doing there, electrical, because at the end of the day, that is basically the project, right? Everything
Hmm.
coming together. And
Hmm.
later on, usually, the, like, the managers may have to be multidisciplinary. So at that point, you may need to know what other at least know what other departments are doing. And if you already, look out for what is going on, then you would get to know, right? If you are keeping not looking out, then you may not understand what's going on in the big picture, right? And it's always good to know the big picture, because that gives a lot more clarity on what you're doing, what your role is in the project, and how you're contributing towards it. And that actually helps a lot. So yeah, like, very good, I would say, like, points that you made, and yeah,
Yeah,
I
and just a quick addition, I would also like to add, as you were saying, technical writing and grammatical errors. So that is very simple also while writing emails. If you remember, if you because if somebody writes like, let's say, grammatical errors in an email, or doesn't know that there should be two spaces after a full stop, those kind of things, those basic things, but you should at least know those things right from your day one. I'm not even talking about you need to know that after 3 years or 2 years. No, you should know how to write a basic, proper email from your day one when you start the corporate job. So that, I mean, it gives a good impression to your boss that, hey, this guy at least knows how to write a proper email. Because I have seen people write like emails, and you immediately, although they are very good technically, but you immediately understand that writing like English is wrong. It doesn't give a good impression, right?
Right.
So that is very, because my professor used to see a lot on this thing, like how you write your email, like. So
Yeah.
this was one of the point I think is important also.
Yeah, and also, just to add to that email, I think it's also important that you be concise, because, I've seen, a lot of the times there's a lot of information in an email, some totally irrelevant information, right? And if you're especially if you're sending an email to a super senior person who is really busy, they won't
Hmm.
like that, right? To go through all of that and understand what exactly are you trying to ask in that email, right? Or what is
Hmm.
the point of that email. So it's also important to be, as concise as possible, and, deliver the information in as few lines as possible. So that's also another thing I would just like to add to that point. Yeah.
Great point. Yeah. So the last point which I have wrote, and I got this also from one of my supervisors, and I think it's a very useful, very for our industry. So he said that for our in our industry, the good thing is it's not like management consulting, that like top management consulting firms where it's either you go up or you go out, right? Either you can go up the ladder, a hierarchical ladder, or you have to go out of the firm. But in our industry, if you are comfortable, you can stay at the same level for 20 years. Nobody will question you. You will be valued. Yes, your salary will also go up proportionately, not like how much a senior vice president make. You may not get this. Obviously, you will not get the same as a senior vice president if you are a senior consultant, let's say. But obviously, your salary will go up also, and if you're comfortable, company will really like you, because you are a treasure for sure. You are an asset to the company. You have 25 years of experience. But I mean, you can stay comfortable in that position, or if you want to actually go, if you have the desire to go up in the company, then what you need to do is you have to reach out and take initiative to see what the tasks are involved in the next level. Like if your next level, let's say I'm right now a consultant, like I'm not a senior consultant, I'm a consultant. So my next level is I have to write reports, I have to know how to write proposals. Those are my next level tasks. So from now only I should actually read proposals. I need to practice how to write reports, like that kind of communication. I need to improve a little bit better, because when I will be ready for that role, only then the promotion will come. It's not like they will first promote me and then they will see, okay, can I do it or not? Because if I'm not ready, they will hire somebody from outside. So because that is how it works. Because you have to be, you have to take that initiative to know, understand what those roles required, that what the tasks are involved in that role, and make sure, because there you will get a lot of time. So make sure you gradually cover those tasks, that you're comfortable doing those tasks. Yeah, that is the last point I think I have regarding this. So you want to add something on this?
No, yeah, like as you said, right? That's like really true. And you have to, if you want to like pursue certain opportunity, or if you want to grow up in the ladder, you have to actively look out for that, and at the same time, you have to see what that role entails, right? Because at those senior levels, nobody's gonna come and teach you. So it's better that you be prepared to take that responsibility. Because and again, at those points, it's a very it's not that people will give you time to understand that. So if you are able to perform, that's good, and if you're not able to perform, then those roles don't stay and keep training people. So yeah, it's important to have the know what it entails. So yeah, that's also, I think, very relevant.
Yeah, I think I have covered all the points. Until unless you have any point you are thinking you want to add, then we can wrap this up. I know we wanted to keep it short, but it's already 28 minutes now. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. I think we discussed a lot of points, and I think very very relevant ones. So I don't have anything else to add on to it, but it was really a great discussion, and I hope people like benefit out of this. So yeah, thank you so much for having those
no,
suggestions
yeah.
up.
Thank you,
And yeah,
Soham, and welcome. Thank you to our viewers. Hope you have, for if you have stayed so long. Yeah, and we are sure that you are also a very serious candidate, a serious student, or a serious professional who is entering the industry. And hope these advices actually help you out, because these are real advices we got from real people and from real experiences from our journey. It's not like something we made it up or read it in the articles or anything like that. So hope you enjoy the video, and subscribe to our channel. We will make such videos in the future. Thank you.
right.